it's never going to be perfect. Like, we're human, but it does get easier when you keep reminding yourself of that you are valuable, that what you put out there is good and it's going to reach the right people when it's
Yes.
supposed to. I think it does help over time.
It is such a pleasure to welcome Kelsey from Crochet by Kelsie in this week episode. We talked about so many things, going from how everything started for her to how to build a recognizable brand and continuing managing it without feeling overwhelmed. She will share with us so many great advice. Let's meet Kelsey. Hi, Kelsey. Thank you so much for joining me on the Crochet Podcast. I just discovered your account I think few weeks ago, and I sent you a message right away because I wanted you on the podcast so bad. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Can you please introduce yourself very quickly for people that don't know you already?
Yeah, for sure. So I'm Kelsey from Crochet by Kelsey. I'm a Canadian crocheter. I've been crocheting since 2020, and I started my business in January of 2021.
Okay. What so you started crocheting for the first time was in 2020, right?
Yeah. So basically,
Oh,
like in the
wow.
fall of 2020, and like a couple months later, I started designing and publishing patterns.
Oh, okay. So it was not like a long gap between you when you started and decided to make it a business, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh, that's super cool. What inspired you to create your own business?
I wasn't expecting to do that because I did go to university and I have a degree and everything.
Okay.
When I started crocheting, um, I wasn't planning on designing anything, but when I started posting what I did on some Facebook groups, crochet Facebook groups, I got a
Okay.
lot of demand on a specific design I created but did not make a pattern for. And that's why I decided to publish that first pattern and then go on and publish more.
So that was because of the demand.
Exactly. Like, people were actually asking for a pattern, and I did not have any experience doing it. I thought it was worthwhile trying because a lot of people were really excited about it, and
Yeah.
that's how I did that.
What was your design?
Uh, my pig pattern. It's kind of round.
Yeah, I've
Actually,
seen
I
it.
actually posted something today with
Yes,
it.
that's why I'm like, did I just see
Yeah,
that?
yeah. So that was my first design. Yeah.
Okay, wow, that's pretty cool. I discovered your account because of the little seagull with a little beanie. I think it's the cutest thing ever. But I think that's so cool
Thank you.
because all your design, they're all different, but we can really see I don't know if it's on purpose or something, but you have a very specific brand image. I will say, it's we can recognize your patterns right away. Like this is you. What
It's so funny that you say that because I had so many people tell me the same exact thing. They're like, I don't even need to see the username, and I know it's you." Sometimes
Yes.
I publish on, not publish, I post on Reddit, so people don't necessarily know it's me because the username is not Crochet by Kelsey.
Mhm.
But they're like, "Are you Crochet by Kelsey?" I'm like, "Yeah," and they're like, "I could totally tell just from the design."
Yeah, we can just recognize it right away, and also the way you take your pictures. It's always on a folded blanket, so every time I see it, I'm like, yes, this is you. Did
Yeah.
you think about all of that when you started your own business? Because a lot of people who want to start their business question, do I need to have a brand image or does it come naturally? Did you ask yourself these questions?
Well, if you look over time, I started out doing whatever. I just posted pictures with cute backgrounds outside, in front of a wall. And over time, I tried to make things look a bit more aesthetic. I definitely don't think you need to.
Uh-huh.
As I said, I started out doing whatever and it worked out for the most part. I do think that it does make it easier for people to recognize your thing. So instead of scrolling by,
Yeah.
they're going to stop and say, oh, it's this designer, and they're going to look at it, interact with it. So I think to some extent it is important, but to start out with, I definitely don't think that's something you need to worry about. Just worry about consistency.
Yes.
I think that's the most important part of the whole building your business thing. Even if it's not every week or every other week, if it's once a month but you do it consistently, that's better than not doing that at all.
When you talk about consistency, is that like consistency in terms of like creating as many patterns as you can, or like more creating posts on social medias or stuff like that?
I think both. I've been pretty consistently releasing one pattern every month.
Okay.
That is doable for me. But if that's not something somebody is able to do because they work a lot like outside of their crochet business, then they definitely can stretch out
Yes.
how often they make and release patterns, but as long as it's pretty consistent. So if it's every 2 months, do it every 2 months. And same thing with posts. If you can only post once every other week, once every month, do that, but try to publish it maybe like around the same time to kind of see it grow, and then you can adapt over time.
Yes, you learn more you post and more you learn like what works, what doesn't work. Thank you for that. For I know a lot of people are listening and want to start their own like crochet business. So thank you for your advice. And what?
Sure.
So we said like we really recognize your creation every time we see it. Do you have like specific inspiration? Like where do you get your ideas from?
So they come from a bit everywhere. Sometimes I just walk and I see cute posters, or I do some research online, different animals, like art. There's a lot of very good artists on Instagram actually that post very kawaii, cute things. So I get inspired from that. But also I try to always like design things that make me feel good. Like the first pattern I've ever not created but followed when I started crocheting was a pattern that I found on TikTok. I was just scrolling and I found a cute pattern and it just made me feel so good. It looked
Yes.
so
Yeah.
huggable, so cute. And I feel like I try to recreate that feeling in all of the plushies that I make.
Yes, that's so true. You know, like a lot of people ask me, like, how do you know you have the right design? And I feel it's like a feeling, like when, sorry,
You feel
when
it,
you
and then
look
when
at
you
it.
crochet yeah, and when you crochet something and it's like you're done and everything, you spend a lot of time on it. If you don't have that feeling, it's really hard to move on with it.
Yes.
Sometimes I'm gonna shove something to the side
Yeah.
until I come up with a different idea,
Yeah.
tweak something until I'm able to be like, yeah, okay, that's me. That's
What
you
I
know
love. Yeah. Yeah, I
exactly
think it's not a like a specific rule. It's just like according to your taste, you like it or you don't. And sometimes it's so tricky because
100%.
you have one thing you don't like, and it's like so hard
Yeah,
to figure it
you
out.
don't really know what. Yeah. Yeah, I definitely get that feeling all the time. I've been working on a pattern. I was gonna not release it, but come up with a tester call next week. But I'm gonna wait for the next week because there's something about it I need to change.
Yes.
But yeah,
That's a good advice also, like to take time. Like don't rush. Sometimes
yeah,
like if you are
don't rush
frustrated,
it.
wait a little bit, you may come up with something like that works. Like sometimes I notice like if I rush, it just doesn't click, you know.
That's so true. At the same time, though, like I've had moments where I have like a spark of like
Yeah.
creativity, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I want to design this, and I create it in 3 hours. I'm like, that's it.
Yes. Yeah.
But other times it takes weeks and months, and sometimes I shove something for a whole year before I go back to it
Yes.
because it was so frustrating and I didn't have a good idea. And
Yeah.
yeah, it just sometimes it takes longer.
Yes.
You just have to either move on something else, put it aside, or just take your time,
Yes.
rework it, until you love it.
Don't stay on the frustration part, like for sure, because I think
Exactly, because it's just gonna go. It's gonna get worse.
yes, and I feel it could disgust you from like creating patterns. I feel like if you spend your
Yeah,
time frustrated when it doesn't work.
yeah, I totally agree.
So your whole business, it's you sell patterns, right? That's all you do, or do you have other side of your business?
So I used to also sell not my patterns, my plushies,
Okay.
um, but I did not love the process of packaging everything, shipping it out, and then having people like saying like, "Oh, it's late" or whatever. And then even before shipping, like at some point I was doing custom orders, so having people say, "Okay, can you rework this?" And then like they make me rework
Yes.
like 5 different things. I found it so frustrating as an artist. I was like, no. And then I moved on and I just posted things that were already done. There's no customization.
Yes.
But even then, like I said, with the shipping,
It's
it's
a lot
so
of
complicated. So
logistic.
what I do now,
Mm.
yeah. So what I do now is when I have too many plushies, I just drop them off at a artisan shop,
Oh.
and they sell my plushies locally. So if I sell them, I sell them. If I don't, it's just more storage space.
Yes, yes. It's in terms
So
of space. At one point, he gets like,
yeah.
oh, that's
So
cool.
other than that, I really don't have other selling aspects of my business. I've never really taken on any sponsorships or anything. I do collabs, but they're usually not paid collabs. So yeah.
Is there is like a specific like yarn brand you like to work, or you just like pick and choose according to your project?
I'm very known for Bernard Blanket.
Okay.
All my patterns are published and I use that yarn.
Mm-hmm.
I recently, and that's probably how you discovered me with my small fuzzy seagull.
Oui.
Is that the one? Yeah. So that
I just love it so much.
it's so fun. I have so many that uses that yarn now, and I'm working on another one to post next
What
week.
yarn is
That
it?
Feels like Bliss by Lion Brand.
Oh, is
He
that
actually,
like is new or something? Because I've seen like
it is new.
creators using. I
Yeah,
have to
Michael's
try
has a
it.
lot
It's
of
so
colors right now.
nice.
Michael's has a lot of colors, and they also
Oh.
sell it directly on the Lion Brand website, which I also bought from. The shipping was really, really long, so just so you know, that's a thing. But
Mm-hmm.
Michael's has most of the colors at this point, so I would try
Oh, I
that
have to
for
go
sure.
check it out because I've seen like this style and I was wondering what was the yarn. I will check it out for sure.
It's so fun, and honestly, if you do it in the daylight, like I can actually see my stitches. A lot of people are saying like, "Oh no, I
Yes,
can't see it," but I maybe it's because I have more experience, but I can actually see the stitches and I can feel them, and it's I don't find it difficult. It doesn't take me too much longer to make a plushie using it. So
yes. I feel like crocheting with fluffy yarns scare a lot of people, but actually, like when you start doing it, and as you say, you can feel the stitches, you get used to it like
yep.
super fast. It's
What
not
I
like something that takes forever.
I've been on the Ribbler live podcast thing, and I recommended this to people. If you want to start working with fuzzier, fluffier yarns, what I recommend doing is really getting used to a specific pattern, doing it over and over again using yarn that is easy for them, and then try it again, but with the fuzzier yarn, because you kind of know how it works up. So you know where the stitches
Yes.
are, how many there are, and then it's easier for you to get used to it. So that's
Yes.
what I recommend it for.
That's a good advice. Oh my god, I'm sorry, I'm a little bit sick.
That's okay.
I
Me
will
too.
have to cut. But yeah, thank you so much. That's such a good advice because I know a lot of people are tempted by it. Go for it. Like I feel the result is absolutely amazing and it's not that complicated, I promise.
No, no, it
But
is more
thank you.
daunting because it is harder to see, but when you get used to it, then it is what it is.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
different.
thank you for the hope. So, like, you have an online business, so most of your patterns are, all of your patterns are on Etsy, or like, do you use other platforms? You say you were
Etsy
on Rimbler
and
also.
Dribbler. Yeah, I'm on
Okay.
Etsy and Dribbler. At some point, I tried coffee or whatever, but I thought that running 3 shops was a bit difficult. I
It
might
was,
eventually
yeah,
make my own just because, but I'm comfortable using those 2 platforms so far. It's been good.
yeah. Did you feel that growing on social media was an important part of growing your business in general, or you didn't see any connection?
Well, social media is what made me start writing and publishing patterns. Facebook was
Okay.
the first thing that made me start that. I would say that without social media, I wouldn't even know what amigurumi is. I found out about amigurumi through TikTok.
Yeah.
Without it, I would be clueless. I did not know that was a thing. I didn't know you could crochet or knit plushies at
Yeah.
all. So I think it is very important. A lot of people are on those platforms and are looking for certain patterns, and I think for myself, I think it would have been silly not to pursue that further. I know some people don't have social media and they're very successful on
Yes.
Etsy. It is a
Yes.
marketplace, so if you're paying for ads and whatnot, like Etsy will push your stuff.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
It's something we don't talk enough. I feel on the podcast because we always talk about the social media part, but that's so true that you can grow an Etsy shop without the link to your social media because, as you say, like there is SEO, like the search engine optimization of
Yep.
like Etsy. So if you have a popular pattern on Etsy, it just goes by itself. You don't need to promote it on your social media.
When you think about it, like when I first published my piggy pattern, like I only had a handful of people on Facebook who knew about it, but and I had no following on Instagram. I just started an account. I probably had like 100 followers, but I was able to still sell semi consistently on Etsy because of those things, the SEO,
Yes.
um,
The
ad revenue.
reviews also are important. I know, like, it's important to have good reviews.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
because
But
they
that's
put you up
good.
higher.
Sorry.
They put you up higher in the
That's
search.
true. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's good, like to say that you don't need because social media, I will say, is not for everyone.
Yeah.
Like not everyone wants to grow a page. It's a lot of work. So I think that's good that with Etsy you can actually like have a successful listing without like promoting it on social media. I think that's great.
Yeah, a lot of my Etsy sales, like I would say probably half of my Etsy sales don't even come from my social media. So it's a hundred
Yes.
percent doable.
Yeah. Well, that's good. That's good. And so, is it it's your full time job, right? You do that full time? No, you don't.
No, I do not.
Okay.
I have a day job. I don't work full time on that day job to give
Okay.
me time on my business. So I would say both of them would be considered part time, although I probably work more than a full time job overall.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, running a business is in itself
You
a
don't
full
count.
time job.
Like.
No, you don't count. But I'm a substitute teacher. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
you just like do both. Is it a choice for you? Like, do you want to do that, or like it's something you have to?
At this point, I would be able to just do my business,
Uh
but
huh.
I'm very into finances and different things, and I like having different sources of income. And at this time, I
Mm-hmm.
feel like even though I'm able to pay for everything using what I make from my business, it's nice to have that cushion on the side.
Yes.
Eventually, I might just let go of subbing and just do this full time. But at
Mm-hmm.
this time, like I said, it's just more comfortable this way, I think,
Yeah.
for me.
It's like a
And I
peace
do
of
love
mind.
working with kids and stuff like that. I get that
Yeah.
social life that I don't get from my business. I'm my
Yes,
own
I get
boss,
it.
I'm my own employee. So being able to do that at the same time, I get more of that social interaction with other people, other humans
Y-
to keep me
Yeah,
sane.
I understand. He gets you out of the house a little bit. That's something I
100%.
definitely miss sometimes. I talk to my husband way too much. Like,
Yeah, for sure. And Yeah, it's just that's what I did my degree in. Like I went to school to be a teacher, so I did my
Mm-hmm.
bachelor's in kindergarten and elementary education. So it's good to like if I do want to go back to that, if I want to be a teacher full time, I'm still in this system and I'm able
Yes.
to know what the changes are in the curriculum and like how things are going. So it's good to stay up to date with in my own field.
Yeah,
So
I understand. Like, so you don't have also a big hole, like in your resume or stuff like that. I could
exactly.
understand. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
But
that's
it's nice
good.
because I get oh sorry, go ahead.
No, no, I think that's great.
It's nice to be able to choose when I work, so I can have weeks where I only go subbing once or twice. Sometimes I'll do it more. It's really up to my preference
Oh,
how much I want to work. It gives me my business gives me the ability to choose how
it
much I
gives
work
you
outside
this
the home.
freedom. Yeah. Yes, I feel it's something we don't talk enough. Like the fact that a lot of people don't know if they have to quit their full time job, but like if they want to do like the crochet business, and I think it's good. Like you could have a part time job and manage it with like your crochet business. I thought about it before just to, as you say, like to get out of the house because I
Yeah.
was missing like the social part, like just seeing people. And it's
Super
something you
doable.
can,
Even if it's once or twice a week, if it's
yeah.
on weekends or in the evenings, like I'm sure most people, even if not everyone wants to admit it, like we have moments where we're less productive. So if you can spend just a few hours in your week to do that, and
Yeah,
it makes things more comfortable and easier, then I go right
yeah.
ahead and do that. I do it.
And I feel it's not for everyone. Now I feel I'm used to it, but when I started like working at home, it's not for everyone. When you stop like talking to people, I'm on my computer way too much, and I really feel it could like sometimes make you sad or things. So I totally understand wanting to have like another like job.
Yeah, but in between when I finished my university degree, so in the spring of 2021, and when I moved out to Alberta, I'm from Quebec initially, and now I live in Alberta. Um,
Okay.
I had a big gap where I didn't get a job in between, so I was just doing crochet
Mm-hmm.
for a few months, and I totally did feel that. I felt kind of lonely and like I was like, what's my purpose here? What am I doing?
Yeah, it can be
So,
tough. Like I felt the same way when I started. I used to work retail, and when I just like stopped seeing people,
yeah,
it was tough. I totally understand. I think I got used to it. My husband also work from home, but I can totally understand how it can be hard.
yeah,
And you have to
that's
have a
so true.
self discipline. You have to wake up every morning. Like it's really important to have a self discipline. I think in that case.
Oh, yeah, because that's how you get things going. It's very easy to say, "Oh, I'll take a day off or whatever," and then one day turns into 2 days and turns into just like not doing much or doing very low energy tasks that don't
Yeah,
technically require much time or effort. And then the things that do bring you revenue might be pushed aside longer, and it just kind of creates a weird cycle of
cycle. Yes.
yeah.
Yeah, it's a tricky part the day off. Like when you have like your own business is really tricky. I feel like sometimes if I stop, I will stop for way too long.
That
Like
yeah.
you really start like if you shut down, you it's really hard to find the balance of like, oh, I'm just
And
taking
then when you
one day
actually
off.
take a day off, then you can't really fully enjoy it because you're like,
Yes.
I procrastinated so much before, so now it's like I'm in my head so much.
the
That's
guilt the guilt of it, like sometimes just that makes me work. I'm like, okay, I feel too guilty, I need to work.
yeah. I feel like you're doing something.
Yes. Yeah. Like the guilt is for sure a big part of it. It's also hard to manage. I always like try to balance it out, but I still don't get it. It's like if you stop doing, like not feeling guilty is really hard. You have the feeling you don't do anything and sometimes you just need to rest. It's all
Yeah, I
about
think that's why
balance.
it's important to have like a routine where you're like, okay, well, during, let's say, Monday through Wednesday, I'm gonna do this, this, and that. As long as I
Yes,
manage to do this, if I can do more, great. But these are the minimum things I need to get done. And then you can
yes,
change that for other days during the week, make things maybe lighter or heavier, however you feel. And
yeah.
just if you're able to maintain that, I think it allows you to have a better work life balance.
Yes. And also like set up when you want to take day off. Like, okay, well, on Saturday I will not work. That's what it is. And yeah, I feel organization is really important. Like, do you feel you are organized?
For the most part, I'm not the most organized person in itself, but for the most part, I've been very consistent with how I run things. Like I said, I try to release a pattern every month, and I've been pretty good doing that. Except in December. In December, it's my month off. I'm like, I need to like cleanse
And you
my
enjoy the
brain.
holidays. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. So I do that for December, but for the most part, like I have a whole process of how I do things. I do research. I look at different things. I start drawing some designs, and then when I feel like it's inspiring me enough, then I start testing it out with yarn. I write it down as I go, and then other days when that's done, I can like test it out more and then write up the pattern, take progress pictures, everything. So I'm very methodical with how I like to do things. I don't have
Yeah.
specific days on which I like to do them. It depends on the complexity of the pattern,
Yeah.
but I do have a way to set it up so that I know I'm progressing and I'm
Yes.
leading somewhere.
And you are not forgetting content or stuff like
Yeah.
that, because also if you crochet too far without taking picture, you're like, oh no, I forgot to take
What I
picture.
like to do is like take, let's say I crochet something. So let's say I crocheted a chicken. I'm gonna try to take pictures and videos and stuff in different contexts so that I have content to publish later on, when I maybe don't have as much time to crochet other than making my own patterns because I'm not crocheting full time. I have to be very careful and smart about how I do it because the reality is I don't always have time to crochet daily.
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
just reality, and taking many types of pictures to be able to post like a month later when I don't have that content on hand is really helpful.
Yeah, like you have a little library of content that you
Yeah.
can. That's really smart. Yes, you don't have to take like to make the post as it goes. Like it's, I feel it's good to prepare your post, and like that you always have something to post even when you go on holidays or stuff like that.
Like the post I posted today, that's from January. I
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so like I literally don't have a plan of when it's gonna happen. I don't know if you know what Business Suite is. It's from Meta, and you can like you can pre-make posts and then select the
Oh,
time, day and time for Meta or Instagram to post everything.
oh, it's like scheduling content.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, that's cool. I heard about it, but I never used it. Oh,
It's
yes, that's
so good.
good.
It's so good. And now they apparently like now you can like actually make reels off of it too. But so far I've only used it for posts, and it's super helpful. Like next week, I have a friend visiting me for a week, and I probably won't be crocheting at all. So I'm gonna pre-plan posts that are just gonna get published by itself. I don't have to worry about it. I just have to interact
Yes.
with people in the comments. Yeah.
Oh, that's really cool, because sometimes I don't know if it happened to you, but like sometimes I'm like, okay, I have to post that at that time because the time is important,
I
and
did
sometimes
that for a long
I
time.
just totally forget, and I'm like, oh no, I have to wait next week. So
I
that's
know.
really smart.
Yeah.
I'm
Super
so glad
helpful.
they came with a tool like that, because I know what they used to exist like software and stuff to do it, but you had to pay for it.
Yeah.
So I feel
Now it's
it's
really
really good.
meta. It's not like a third party thing at all. It's meta
Yeah.
for
Yeah,
so
because you used to have to pay for this kind of thing, I know.
no. Yeah,
Hmm.
no, it's
Well,
super
thank you
helpful.
for the tips. I will
Yeah.
pass the name of the so it's on Instagram. It's available. I do. How do
It's
you
an
do
app,
it?
so you just go on the App Store. I'm guessing
Mm.
on Android, you have something similar on Google Play. It's called Business Suite, SUIT, like a
Oh
suite.
yeah, you know I have it. I have it, and I need. I will. Oh
It's a
yeah,
site
I
for you
totally
to try it
know.
out.
I use it for other stuff though, like to. It's really good to answer comments from all the platforms together. You know,
Really?
like you receive. So like you receive, if you post on Facebook and on Instagram, you receive all the comment in Meta Suite, and you can
Okay.
also all of them from your
Oh,
computer.
okay. I get what you mean. Yeah, yeah, that's
So I
true.
use it for that, but I didn't know you could schedule. I will put the link in the description for people who wants to
I think
check
you
it
can
out.
even, I think you can even schedule like Instagram stories too, not just
Really?
posts, but just stories. Yeah.
Because story is the same thing. Like sometimes I just forget like to post or stuff. Well, I think that's a very like good tool, and I'm glad like Facebook, Instagram is coming up with tools to help creators. Like I feel like we all need it because we all do so many things. So I feel like if we receive a little bit of help, is good.
Yeah. No, it's super helpful, and it helps with time management. If
Yeah.
you can dedicate like an hour to just create posts for the week or the next 2 weeks, and then
Yeah.
you don't have to worry about that, you can just jump into other aspects of your business, either pattern writing or making plushies for markets and just for your Etsy and such. It just makes things a lot better time wise.
Yeah. Well, thank you for this advice. Are you so you are on Instagram? You say you are on Facebook as well. Are you on other platforms?
I used to be on TikTok. I probably still have an account on TikTok, but I have a
Okay.
hard time making videos. I'm just not creative in that way. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't like piggybacking off of other people's content. Sometimes I did that and it always kind of felt like, oh, it feels like I'm not being original. And it's not necessarily the case, like there's trends and stuff that goes on. It's the point is to recreate it. But I
Yes.
feel like as a creative, I like making my own original stuff, and it's hard to break from that habit.
Yes, I understand. Like to just to feel more genuine and yeah.
Exactly.
And sometimes I feel it can be a distraction too. Like sometimes, like I avoid like sometimes watching too much other creator because sometimes you can feel like, oh, I don't do enough. Like sometimes I can feel that. I don't know if it happens to you, but when I see
It
like
happens all the time.
someone with so many likes, and it's not even like jealousy or something, it's just like
Like, what am I
I'm not
doing? Like,
there. Why do
yeah.
I do wrong or stuff like that?
Some
So
content creators are really on top of things. Like they're publishing daily, sometimes multiple times daily. I'm like, I don't even know how you're doing this. Like, good job. Props to you.
yes,
Props to you.
yes,
But
I have a lot of admiration for that because I just don't understand it. I'm like, if I crochet, like and it could make me feel guilty. Like if I watch it too much, I'm like, okay, well, let's not think about that. What do I do
well,
wrong?
you have to um watch content that makes you feel good in the end. If there's
Yeah.
something that makes you feel lesser than, I think that's worth either self-reflecting and just maybe do things differently, or like you said, just not watch as much of it, just so that you don't
Yeah.
get that negative feeling constantly weighing on you, because what that does is it's not going to make you more productive. It's going to make you self-doubt and maybe not do as much as you were already doing. It's just going to kind of
Yes.
make you feel down in the dumps and just kind of, ugh, well,
Yeah,
what's the
it's
point? Like,
really
I'm not, yeah,
I feel it's really important like to not compare yourself. Like you are where you are supposed to be with a number of followers that you have, and I feel like more you compare yourself and more it's I feel it's important to have inspiration, but when you start comparing your value is where like you I don't feel it's very productive. Like I used to do it a lot when I started, and it hurt. I feel that it hurted me more than it did good for me. So
I agree with that. It's very easy to let those thoughts creep into your mind, especially with social media, just because there's so much content getting pushed to you all the time that you just constantly see that. Like, I don't know about you, but my
Yes.
crochet account, like everything on my newsfeed is almost all crochet related. So I just see all everybody's amazing posts and stuff, and it can, if I haven't been as productive that day or
Yeah.
week, then it's gonna get into my mind, be like, oh, they're doing so good, I'm doing so bad.
And usually like Instagram always push like the most popular post, and it's
Yeah,
even worse because you're like, oh, 20,000 likes, okay, and you feel even worse.
yeah, yeah. No, I totally get that.
Yeah, so get inspired, but don't compare yourself. Like
Yeah,
he hurts. It really
it
hurts. I feel
does.
like
It
I really
does.
try
A lot of
not to do it.
people like to pretend that it doesn't impact them at all, but it's important, I think, to acknowledge those feelings because that's what is going to make you grow, and it's what's going to make you um, be able to like push through, and not let it impact your work. I think.
Yes. Yes, you're right. It's important to be conscious of it, like so
Yeah.
you know it affects you, but not to fall for it. But I guess it's to train your brain. But I like thinking like we are all where we are supposed to be, and I think like he really helped me knowing like, okay, well, I've done. I think as long as you always work hard and you feel you give your maximum, well, there is nothing to be afraid of.
Yeah, that's what I like to think as well. I think it
Yeah.
becomes easier. It's never going to be perfect, like we're human, but it does get easier when you keep reminding yourself of that you're valuable, that what you put out there is good, and it's going to reach the right people when it's
Yes.
supposed to. I think it does help over time.
Yes, yeah. And the experience sometimes like I feel like I know more to what to post and to go viral or whatever with experience and stuff like that. Like I used to feel really bad when I didn't have views and stuff, but when you start it's really hard and you just have to admit that, I guess.
Yeah,
Yeah.
very
Well,
true.
I hope it's helpful to the audience because I know it can be tough. Like it's really
It's
hard
something
not
we
to
don't
want to
talk
give
about a
up.
lot. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
that's why
important
I
to
created
acknowledge
the
it.
podcast because I feel we all struggled with something at one point, and like to share it to the audience. I because I know it's hard to not give up sometimes.
Yeah. Because ultimately, like, views come and go. The algorithm, it's just, I'm not gonna swear, but sometimes it's not great.
And it's
um
not your fault.
no, it's not your fault. You just keep doing what you're doing. Eventually you'll get out of it, because like I said, like, the algorithm is ever changing. So
Yes.
you just, it's hard. It's hard to be able to be like, okay, this is the exact time I should be posting. This is the exact type of content that I should be posting. You don't know. Some of my most viral reels and posts weren't the ones that I put much effort in at all. To be honest, it's quite the opposite. The most low
Yes.
effort things I post usually get more attention for some reason.
Yes, yes. Sometimes it's just not planned. And also I don't know if you felt like that also like viral can be it doesn't mean like success is in your business. Like because
No.
sometimes a reel can go viral. I don't know. Like if you reel go viral for seagulls and you attract people that love bird, for example, what is it gonna bring to your business? I feel like sometimes it's better to attract crocheters, even if it's less of them, than just bird lovers because you're gonna get
You
views.
don't
You
necessarily
gonna
crochet.
yes, and nobody. It's not these people that are gonna buy your pattern. So I feel like going viral can is good, but it doesn't mean it's gonna bring success to your business, and vice versa.
What it does allow is that it allows more momentum for your future posts. So if you
Yes,
post a bit more
that's true.
frequently and more of that same content and everything, you're gonna probably get more viewers. So if you're pushing like the type of content you want out there, then you might attract more crocheters. So it creates
That's true.
momentum. It doesn't bring success. So if you just stop posting and you don't take advantage of that momentum, then that's not going to do anything for you. So
Yes.
that's what I would say.
Yeah, that's totally true. Like I feel like your Instagram account just becomes like there is a light to it, like for Instagram, and they're like, okay, this account is like trending, so he is boosting more people to your account. So it's
Yeah.
important to like keep posting and just not post your viral video and just like, oh, cool.
Yeah, I've seen people post and then repost a couple of times to like get more, and that doesn't. I haven't seen much success from that. I see the
Yeah,
original video doing good, but then it's like people already saw it, so why would they want to keep seeing it?
yeah,
So yeah,
yeah. It's all about like you have to like think a little bit deeper than just going viral. Like he
it's
has to have
exciting for sure. It's super
and
fun.
it's overwhelming, I feel
Yeah,
too.
yeah,
Yeah, but you have to use this moment and like these view numbers and stuff like in your
your
favor.
advantage. Yeah,
Yeah, like for example, I had my friend Kylie. I don't know her username by heart exactly, but she went viral with her little cat video, and from this viral video she started like selling them, a bunch of them, and like she really used this moment to like generate business, and I thought that was like just super smart to do, like
yeah.
to use these views to create business.
Yeah, no, I've seen that before from other users as well. And I do think, like I said, momentum is your best friend. So if you get a lot of attention on something you've posted, then just ride the wave and try to
Yeah, exactly.
get as much out of it as
Ride
you
the
can.
viral wave.
But yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's really smart. So what would be if you had one advice? I know there are plenty of advice, but if you had one advice for someone that want to start their crochet business, like what would it be?
I mentioned it previously. I think consistency. So, no matter how much you're able to post, if you're consistent about it, if you, let's say, you're able to post twice a week or 3 times a week, which is usually around where I'm at, I can't post daily. It's just not something that's possible for me right now, but I
Mm-hmm.
do try to post consistently. So like doing either like Mondays and Wednesdays for a while, and then sometimes I'll do like Tuesdays and Thursdays, but I always try to do the same thing. So I
Okay.
would say to do that. So even if you can only post once a month, if you do it at the beginning of the month every month, then that's consistent, and Instagram is going to reward that with the algorithm.
Okay.
Yeah, I think
Okay.
from
Well,
experience, that's what worked
thank
for
you
me.
for this advice. Is really something like sometimes I feel we don't think about. We just like post whenever we can. So I think that's really smart. Thank you so much. So what's your biggest like dream or projects you have for Crochet by Kelsey?
Um, at this time, I don't have like huge milestones. Like I know a few people mention like writing a book and everything, and that would be amazing one day. But to me, I feel like the biggest dream would be able to like make enough from this business that I'm able to support my family and do things for them, like my parents and stuff like that. They've been great to me and throughout growing my business, and I'd like to be able to give back to my
Yeah.
community, and just being able to do that, I feel like that would be the biggest dream. Like I said, of course, like writing a book is probably on most designers lists. Of course it's up
Yeah.
there, but yeah, I think that's my dream.
Well, I'm sure it can happen. You are so talented. I am inspired by your creation. I think is really gorgeous. It's really different. It's something I didn't tell you, but I feel we see a lot of the same thing sometime on the crochet community, and I feel like when I saw your seagull, I know I'm very focused on your seagull, but
It's really
when I saw your seagull, I'm like, wow, okay, this is so different. This is so cute. Like it was so different, and it was refreshing to see that. So I think you have a bright future in front of you when it comes to like designing.
I really appreciate that. That's really what I try to do. I do try to put something that is different because, like you said, it is easy to fall into everybody else's stuff. Like, oh, there's so many patterns out there that are so similar. And I
Yes.
do try to make my mark and be different and have a certain look just to kind of bring something else to the table.
Yeah. I feel there is room for everyone from every style, and
Yeah,
you really the proof that even if you do something different, it can work because it's true to yourself, to who you are. So yeah, thank you for sharing your story, Kelsey.
thank you
Is
so
there
much.
is anything you want to add or something before before we say bye?
No, just be yourself, have fun with it. Ultimately, crochet is an amazing hobby, and whether you make a business out of it or not, I think as long as you put your heart into it and you enjoy doing it, and you don't just do it for views and to please other people, I think that's where you're going to get the most satisfaction out of it.
Yeah, do it for yourself. Do what
Yep,
makes you happy.
100%.
Thank you so much, Kelsey. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you so much for having me.
Bye bye.
See ya.
Thank you everyone for watching or listening to this new episode of the Crochet Podcast. Don't forget to leave a thumb up or 5 stars if you like this episode. It really helps the podcast to keep growing. So thank you so much. And don't forget to follow Kelsey on social media. Her username is Crochet by Kelsey, and you can find her on Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. I see you very soon for a new episode of the Crochet Podcast. Please take care. Bye bye.